Ladies and gentlemen, there is a saying, if you don't learn to control your mind, it will control you. The mind is both our greatest ally and our most deceptive enemy. It creates stories, builds identities, and shapes how we experience reality. Yet, left untamed, it drags us into fear, doubt, and endless dissatisfaction. When we speak about mastering the mind, the very first step is awareness. Imagine for a moment that you are sitting by a river. The water flows continuously, carrying leaves, branches, and reflections across its surface. The river is your mind, and the thoughts are those drifting objects. Most people without awareness are not sitting on the bank watching. Instead, they are in the water, chasing after the leaves, grabbing the branches, drowning in the flow. Awareness is when you step back onto the bank. You do not stop the river. You do not force it to change its course. You simply observe. You begin to see, this thought is anger. This one is fear. That one is desire. Without awareness, you are pulled along unconsciously. With awareness, you can choose. The problem is not that we think. The problem is that we don't realize we are thinking. Thoughts come and go. And without awareness, we take every single one as truth, every single one as reality. If a thought says you are not enough, we believe it. If it says you will fail, we surrender to it. But the moment awareness arises, that thought loses its power. It becomes what it always was, just a thought. Awareness creates space. In that space, you are no longer fully identified with the mind. You are not trapped in every story it tells. You can watch the mind with a certain distance, and that distance is freedom. This is why awareness is the foundation. Without it, all other practices remain unstable. You cannot discipline what you cannot see. You cannot focus if you don't know where your attention is going. And so everything begins here with the simple but powerful act of noticing. Discipline is often misunderstood. People think it means rigidity, force, or harsh control. But true discipline is not about punishment. It is about direction. Imagine holding the reins of a wild horse. Without discipline, the horse runs wherever it wants, sometimes into open fields, other times into dangerous cliffs. With discipline, you guide it, not by breaking its spirit, but by channeling its strength. The mind is no different. Left unchecked, it jumps from one thought to another, from past regrets to future worries, from distractions to impulses. Discipline is what allows us to say, stop, come back, stay here. It is the repeated act of bringing the mind back to the present moment, no matter how many times it wanders away. At first, this feels difficult, even exhausting. The mind resists because it has been used to moving freely for years. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Discipline slowly reshapes the patterns of the mind. Just as a tree grows in the direction of the light, the disciplined mind begins to grow toward clarity. Discipline is also consistency in the small things. Waking up at the time you said you would, completing the task you promised yourself, taking one more breath before reacting in anger. These may seem like small acts, but they are powerful signals to the mind. I am in charge, not you. Without discipline, awareness remains fragile. You may see the thoughts clearly, but they will still drag you around if you lack the strength to direct your attention. With discipline, you gain the ability to hold your ground, to choose where the energy flows, and to shape the inner world with intention. Focus is like a beam of light. When it is scattered, it illuminates little. But when it is concentrated, it becomes powerful enough to cut through steel. The human mind works in the same way. If attention is divided, half on the present, half on memories, half on worries, then life feels blurred, uncertain, and overwhelming. But when the mind learns to focus, everything sharpens. Think of looking through a camera lens. When it is out of focus, the image is vague, colors blend, and details are lost. The moment you adjust the lens, the picture becomes clear, precise, alive. This is what happens inside when you gather your attention onto one point. Focus allows you to see reality as it truly is, not as the mind imagines it to be. Without it, small problems appear larger than they are, and important opportunities pass unnoticed. But with focus, the unnecessary fades into the background, and what truly matters stands out. The challenge is that the modern mind is constantly pulled in many directions. Every sound, every notification, every distraction competes for attention. Focus is trained by choosing deliberately where to place your awareness and refusing to let it be stolen. It may start with something as simple as focusing fully on your breath, or on a single task, or on listening to another person without wandering elsewhere in thought. Over time, this training sharpens perception not only of the outer world but also of the inner one. You begin to notice subtleties in your thoughts, in your emotions, in the smallest movements of your mind. This clarity becomes a strength, for when you can see clearly, you can also act wisely. Emotions are like waves on the surface of the ocean. Some are gentle, rolling softly, while others rise like towering storms. The mistake many people make is to believe they must fight the waves, or worse, drown in them. Emotional mastery does not mean suppressing what you feel, nor does it mean being controlled by it. It means learning to surf the waves without losing balance. When anger arises, most people either explode outwardly or bury it inside. Both paths create suffering. But when you regulate emotion, you acknowledge its presence without letting it dictate your actions. You see the anger, you feel its heat, but you remain the one holding the steering wheel. The same is true for sadness, fear, or desire. Each emotion carries energy. Without regulation, that energy consumes you. With regulation, you can channel it. Fear can sharpen awareness. Sadness can deepen understanding. Even anger, when mastered, can give strength to stand against injustice. Regulation begins with the pause, that small moment of breathing before reacting. That short space where awareness meets discipline is where mastery begins. In that pause, you step out of automatic reaction and step into conscious choice. With practice, emotions become less like storms that knock you over and more like signals that guide you. They are no longer your masters, but your messengers. You can feel fully yet remain steady. This is not coldness, it is strength. It is the ability to embrace emotion deeply while refusing to be enslaved by it. Detachment is often misunderstood as indifference, as if it means not caring or not feeling. But true detachment is not the absence of love or concern, it is the absence of chains. It is the ability to engage fully in life, to love deeply, to strive passionately yet not be consumed by clinging. When you are attached, the mind becomes clouded. You hold so tightly to a desire, to a person, to an outcome, that fear of loss dominates your thinking. And in that fear, clarity disappears. You no longer see reality as it is. You only see what you want it to be, or what you are afraid it might become. Detachment allows you to loosen the grip. It does not mean walking away from responsibility or connection. It means standing with an open hand instead of a closed fist. Imagine holding water in your palm. If you squeeze too tightly, the water slips away. If you hold it gently, it remains. Through detachment, you begin to see more clearly. Success and failure both reveal their lessons. Joy and sorrow both show their impermanence. You stop confusing temporary conditions with permanent truths. Life becomes lighter, not because you care less, but because you no longer try to control what was never in your control to begin with. Detachment is freedom from illusion. It frees you to act with wisdom instead of desperation, to love without fear of losing, and to walk through change without being broken by it. In that space, clarity emerges naturally, like the sky revealed when clouds pass away. Consistency is the bridge between intention and transformation. Many people wait for a burst of motivation, believing change will come from a single great effort. But mastery does not arrive in one moment. It is built quietly through repetition, through returning again and again to the practice. Imagine water dripping on stone. One drop alone does nothing, but with time, those drops carve valleys, shape landscapes, and transform what once seemed unmovable. The same is true with the mind. A single effort of focus or awareness may pass quickly, but when repeated day after day, it rewires the patterns of thought, reshapes habits, and opens new possibilities. Consistency does not demand perfection. It demands persistence. Some days will feel strong, others weak. What matters is not the size of the step, but that the step is taken. Every return to awareness, every act of discipline, every moment of focus is like another drop of water, another carving into the stone of the mind. Over time, this steady rhythm builds trust within yourself. You begin to see, I can rely on me. That trust is powerful because it is no longer dependent on moods or circumstances. Even when motivation fades, consistency carries you forward. Without consistency, knowledge remains theory and practice remains shallow. With consistency, what was once effort becomes natural, what was once struggle becomes strength. It is the bridge that carries you from intention into true mastery. The mind can be a faithful servant or a relentless master. Awareness shows us the truth of our souls. Discipline gives us the strength to direct them. Focus sharpens what we see. Emotional regulation teaches us to feel without being consumed. Detachment frees us from illusion, and consistency carries us across the bridge of transformation. Mastering the mind is not a single act, nor is it a final destination. It is a journey that unfolds each day in every breath, in every choice. When we take this path, life no longer feels like something happening to us. It becomes something we are consciously shaping. The question is simple yet profound. Will you guide the mind or will you let it guide you? The answer determines whether you live in clarity or in chaos, in freedom or in bondage. Master the mind before it masters you. Because once you do, you will see that the greatest power was never outside of you. It was always within.